Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing one of the most requested tutorial that I've gotten in a while, and that would be our custom themed activity and coloring books. So go ahead and stay tuned. Don't forget, if you look down at the link at the description down below, you will see the template if you want to go ahead and follow along and everything we used in this tutorial. Alright, let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, you guys, welcome back. Okay, so what we're going to do today is, like I said, we're going to do a Spongebob themed coloring book and activity book. This is actually very simple. I think a lot of people think it's harder than what it is. It's very simple. So what we're going to do is get started. So if you wanted to follow along, don't forget, in the description down below you will see the template that we offer. And so here we go. And with the template, it does include the template and the mock-up. And this is for Photoshop. Please make sure you do have the complete version of Photoshop when doing this, okay? So I already have my clip art and all of that stuff already ready to go, just so this makes this video not so much longer than my normal videos. So you can see that here. Well, I thought I did. I guess I didn't. So let me go ahead and pull that up. We're just going to pull up our Spongebob clip art as well as my coloring pages. I've already done this design beforehand, so that is why I want to already have those things open, so I'm not running through the internet and all of that stuff. So we have our clip art right here, and then I'm going to do another tab, a new tab, and I'm going to go to my coloring book folders, because that includes all of the coloring stuff that I don't have to make any changes to. They're already ready to go into a book. And you can find that online, like Google. Google is perfect for that. Let me find, okay, there we go, coloring book, and then I have different folders. So we're going to Spongebob 1. And so as you can see, and I got all of these, literally all of it, I got it off of Google. So don't stress yourself out trying to figure out where to find coloring pages. Trust me, you can find them on Google just about anywhere, okay? So I'm just going to move that to the side for right now. Okay, so when you open up your template that we have, it looks like this. And you'll have 3 guidelines, which is these blue lines. Don't do anything with these guidelines. It's really important that they stay there, because it's going to give you an idea of where the middle is of your page. And the middle of your page is very important, because even though this is one page, this is actually the front and the back, or the first page and the second page, is therefore. So you need those guidelines to know where to put your art from and your background and all those things. For instance, like the middle guideline, this one right here, this guideline is to let you know that this is the middle of the page, of course, but it's also separating the front from the back. The right side of your template is the front. So this one right here is the front of your book. This is the bottom of your book, okay? And this guideline over here to the right is letting you know that this is the middle of your front page. This is the middle of your back page, okay? So when you opened it, I know some people kind of probably get a little bit confused, because, well, why is it only one template or one page for the template? Is because what's going to happen is you're going to save, every time you design your new page, you're going to save it as this is the cover, or this is the first page, this is the second page, and so forth, okay? So it does take a lot of moving parts, but trust me, your customers are going to love it. Trust me when I say this, okay? All right, so now that we're familiar with what the guidelines are, we're going to leave them there. You can also lock them if you go over here to view at the top, and then go to lock guides. You don't have to worry about moving them around, because I swear I do that so often. All right, but don't worry. When you save this, the guidelines are not going to be there. I don't know if I needed to say that to anyone, but it won't save. This is just for your designing purposes only. All right, so the very first thing that I like to do when it comes to my coloring books and my activity books is definitely the cover. The cover is the most popular part of this entire thing, and mainly it's because it's the most eye-catching, right? So I already have done one before. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you in another tab. So this is one that I have done before for another customer. So I included his photo. We won't be doing that today. We won't include his photo. But this is how I did it, and I saved it as my cover. So, and then I'll show you how we go from there. But this is the one that we will be using as an example. And so let's go ahead. So we'll go over here again to the template. The template is blank. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put out my background, okay? So I'm going to go over here to where my clip art and things are. I'm going to go into the Spongebob folder, and I found this one that I really liked. So I'm going to bring that over here, and I'm just going to make it bigger to where it fits. It takes up the whole thing. And then I'm going to lock that in place. All right, so now let's see what else we have over here. We're gonna start adding our clip art. I love this little blue bubble. I thought that was too cool. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll go there. We'll add this, and we want to add, I don't remember which one I used because I had to get a few of them. See, it's like this one, and this one is the same one. I can't figure out which one. Let me see. I want to make sure I use the same one. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. Let me see. Okay, so we use this one right here. Okay, so I'm gonna take both of these because we're just gonna start off with this, and then I'm just gonna drag these over. And one of those are coming in. All right, so I'm going to press the check mark above like we normally do. And then I'm going to only keep one at a time because, of course, we don't want to keep this white part here or the TM or the Nickelodeon. We don't want none of that. So let's go ahead and erase the background. So I'm not really sure if I went over this in other tutorials with you guys, but erasing the background is so easy. If you run into issues, like sometimes Photoshop doesn't have like, I think it has really good, the background eraser, but sometimes it kind of sucks. If you run into that, definitely use Canva. Yeah, I love Canva for background, for eraser background eraser. Alright, so, oh, I didn't even tell you guys what I was doing. My goodness. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so I want to go ahead and delete the background for this, and we're going to delete that part and that part. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over here to your eraser tool. You can hold your mouse button down and it'll give you the menu. So we're going to use the magic eraser tool, okay? So you'll click on that. It looks like that with the little stars. Then when you come over here, you're going to click on your image, and it's going to tell you, yo, if you do this, you cannot edit it, the original content. So that's fine. Just say okay. All right, so now you'll have the eraser that comes up. You see what it looks like there with the 3 stars. And then you're going to click on the parts that you want to erase. So we want to erase this white part. So I'm going to click here. As you can see, it went away. That is awesome. Sometimes I go overwhelming, kind of crazy, click happy with my erasing. So sometimes I'll just be over here just clicking away. But there's no need to be doing any of that. It seems to be good the way that it is. So now what I'm going to do to get rid of this part here and this, I don't need the magic eraser for that. I'm going to click on my eraser tool again and then just choose the regular eraser tool. If you feel that your circle is too small or the element that you're using to erase is too small, you can always use your open and close bracket keys. And so like if I use the open one, it goes smaller. If I use the closed one, it goes higher. So I think that's fine. And then I'm just going to go and I'm going to delete the parts that I do not want. Like that. Alright, so now we're good. So I'm going to go back up here to my selection tool. I'm going to take this part and I'm going to Control or Command and T, and I'm going to bring this down. I want it like that a little bit. And I want it to center it on the guideline for the front of my cover. Okay, so right now I'm going to go ahead and lock that in place just for now. And I'm going to open up my other clip art. I'm going to bring them in the front. That's by moving the layers. And then I'm going to get this background out the way. So let's see here. So I did the same thing with the magic eraser, and it's going to let me know about the editing ever again. Then I'm just going to click on the parts that I want erased. So now for this one, if you guys can see down here at the bottom, you see this right here. It's some type of watermark that was on Google. So that's fine. It can stay there for this just because it's going to go behind. They're going to go behind this. So that's fine. I'm not in the business of deleting watermarks. So, yeah. So I can see some little things over here, and I don't even know why I'm messing with this because this is not even going to be seen. But a little perfectionist here. Okay, so now that we got the background out the way, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to move them behind that sign there, and then I'm going to Control or Command T, and I'm going to make them behind the little glob there. Okay, so we're going to leave that like that. And I just want to use this for reference again. Okay, we put all of those down there. All right, so I think that's perfect. And we're going to go ahead and lock that in place. Okay, I'm going to bring this down just a little bit because SpongeBob is just not being able to be seen at all. Because Squidward's big head. Let me see. I'm going to see something. Control T or Command T, and I'm going to switch this around because you see how this hump here is larger than this one over here, and whereas SpongeBob is the shortest, he's kind of really getting cut off. So I'm gonna see if I flip it, would that look better? And you know what, I think it does. So let's go ahead and leave it like that. Okay, so with flipping, mirroring, things like that, all you do with that is click on the layer and right click, and it will come up with that after you, but also use Control or Command T. All right, so now that we have that part, let's go ahead and we're gonna put some people down here, all the characters. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here and let's see who we want Sandy, of course. We want Plankton, Mr. Krabs, and Gary. These are the only ones. And let's go ahead and use this SpongeBob as well for the back cover so that we already have it. So once they come in, you're just gonna press enter. Enter again. And they come in different sizes because that's how I got them offline. So don't stress yourself out so much about that if they just look all kinds of crazy. And again, we're going to, of course, delete the backgrounds that way too. So let's go back and we're gonna delete all the ones, and then we're going to start off with, okay, Mr. Crab. So let's go ahead and get his background taken off first, and remember, we're going to go over here to the eraser tool and then magic eraser. Click on him. Now it's fine. And then sometimes you want to make sure you get into the little crevices because some of the background might still be there. All right, that's perfect. All right, so we're going to put him Control Command T to be able to transform him. I don't know what that is right there, but we're gonna take it off. And then here, keep in mind, remember that this middle guideline here is the back, the start of the back part of your template, your book. So make sure you keep that in mind. Okay, so I want his eyes to be above that blob. So we're gonna move that up. There we go. And let's go ahead and I'll put him like right there. All right, so I don't know what this is here, but it's about to drive me crazy. Well, that can't possibly be right. I think it's one of the things that is locked. Yep, that is exactly what it is. So I want to get that little line off of there. Sometimes you just don't get it all off at the right time. So I got mine off. There we go. All right. Let me go ahead and lock that back, and then we'll go back to erasing things. So now we have Gary, so let's go ahead and erase his background. I'm going to move him above the blob there. My eraser tool, magic eraser tool, and yes, and then we'll go ahead and do the same thing and get in between. And then Gary is good. So I'm going to take it and Control or Command T, and I'm going to make him smaller because Gary's small. He's not big. I'll probably move him around, but for right now, let's just leave him right there. And oh, it's Plankton. Okay, so this one was not the best quality photo, as you can see. but it's okay. We'll get all of those out of the way. We just did the same exact thing. We took our magic eraser tool and we're taking off the background. So, all right. I'll move them down a little bit to make sure I didn't miss anything. See, it's some right here. I'm gonna zoom in. And zooming in, if you're not familiar, is just control. You can use control or command. Oops. And you're going to press the minus or the plus key. The minus is to zoom out, of course, and the plus is to zoom in. And see, so sometimes what ends up sucking is that it's so close to where you do not want to erase that you end up putting out it, erasing the background of the photo. We don't want that. So what I just did from there is I just used the history and go up. I'm not doing anything special. I'm gonna zoom in again to see if I can maybe get better. There we go. I'm gonna zoom out. I think I don't see anything else. I think we're good. So let's go ahead and resize him. Control Command T. And then I'm going to resize him to his size. And we'll put him like right over here. And then let's see, who else do we have? We have Sandy. Bring that up. And then we're gonna use the magic eraser tool and just erase her background. Now, unfortunately, as you can see right here in her bubble, that's not something we're gonna able to get around to. Every time I click on it, no matter where I click on it, it's gonna take the whole thing away. So I wouldn't stress so much about that one. My customers still love the design. Thankfully, I don't think they really noticed it. I like to move them down because sometimes if the clip art is really large, it'll go off the canvas and you won't be able to see that there's still stuff there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that part off, and so now she's good. I'm gonna go ahead and resize her with Control T or Command T, and I'm gonna put, I'm not sure where we're gonna put her. Let me see where I put her last time. Okay, so I did put her on the flower looking thing. What you can do if you don't want, like, see how this flower is, like, it looks like she's standing on a flower, and that's not like realistic at all, even though Spongebob is not realistic. Yeah, you can I'm gonna zoom in and let's see if we can erase some things to make it look like she's standing behind this. Okay, so what we would do is we would go to our eraser while she's still selected over here on our layers panel, and I'm just gonna delete some things. Oh, you know what? Let me try something different first. First, when I like to do things like this, I like to change the opacity to where it's I can see through where her is and this part starts. You know what I'm saying? So to make sure it really looks like she is standing behind it. Okay. So I have my eraser tool selected. I've changed her layer to opacity, which is the transparency, down to 38%. So it's really good. I can really see where the outline of the flower is to where to stop. So we're going to go right here. That's good. And go up here. And this will come in handy on so many different designs, because when you start looking online for like a background or something and you just cannot find what you're looking for, and so then you have to edit what you do find, this really does come in handy. Okay, trying to get as close as possible. All right, so let's now see what it looks like. I'm gonna go zoom out. Well, I guess I can stay zoomed in. And I'm gonna change the opacity back to 100%. And so now, as you can see, it looks like her shoes are, of course, she's behind the flower versus standing on it. So I like that. We'll stick with that. And if you don't like it, you can, of course, edit any kind of way that you want. This is your canvas, not mine. All right, so we are going to lock Sandy in, and then I believe, is that everybody? Yes, that's everybody. We're gonna lock him into, and okay, we'll do that one in just a moment. So now I'm just gonna put in my wording. And so for this one, for the name I use Krabby Patty. I will link down below the link that I found this, and I'm really sure I found it on defont.com, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's named Krabby Patty, and yeah, so let's go ahead and put it in. Make sure everything is locked. We're going to go ahead and use our type tool. Click on there, and we're going to say, we'll still use, we'll use Braylon. A-Y, Braylon. We'll do B-R-A. Don't come for me, moms, of a kid named Braylon. I don't have a kid named Braylon. I don't even know why I came up with that name. So once I've accepted, I went ahead and then just went to my tool over here, my move tool, to move it to the middle here, and then I'm going to choose Control or Command and T, and I'm going to make it larger like that. Okay, and the yellow was already there from a previous time that I've used Facebook the other day. So what I'm going to do is, I like that yellow, but I do want to make sure that it is as close to SpongeBob's color as possible. So I'm going to go over to my character panel, click on the color, then I'm going to click on SpongeBob with the color picker, and it's just about the same. There's a small slight difference, but nothing huge, but I did want to make sure that it was as close as possible. And let me see over here. Okay, we didn't. Okay, so we're going to keep that same font. Then I'm going to put some other things as turning, and I need to charge my mouse, so it's kind of got a delay on it. I'm going to change the size of it over here on my character panel. I think that's good for now. And then we're going to put that in a blue color. And here's all my colors that I have. I think that blue is perfect. Okay, yes, that is perfect. And then we'll put a number. So we'll say Braylon is turning 5. And then I'm going to go over here and make it larger, but it's not going to get as large as I want. So what you're going to do is Control T or Command T, and then we're just going to drag it to make it larger. And then I think that's perfect. We may have to move Plankton a little bit. Just wanted to make sure that's what I did. Okay, so now I want the colors to change, like I showed you just a second ago. So we're going to change it to, since when you use any type of colors, the colors are always going to move over to your swatches. It'll be at the very top. This changes every time you get in there, just because it's only going to hold on to a certain amount, like what is this, like 15, something like that, and then it'll just keep going and keep going. So yeah, so this is cool, so that you don't always forget what color you were using just 5 seconds ago. Okay, so I want this to be yellow like its name, and well, the link has the layer has to be clicked first. So this is clicked. I'm going to go ahead and click on yellow, and then I want to add a stroke around it, which is a border. I want to add that there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the layer, which is going to bring up the layer styles. And like I've told you guys before in other videos, you have to play around with this. It's so amazing. There's so many things that you can do in this this window, but my favorite ones to work with is always going to be the bevel and emboss, the stroke, and the drop shadow. And sometimes I just play around with these to get a specific look that I may like. Let's start with the bevel and emboss. I think that came out perfect. There's no need to play around with that anymore. And then I chose my stroke, and it came out with the last one that I used, which was this gold color for another project. We're going to click on that to change the color, and we want to change it to this blue here. Then you can press OK, and then you can change the size to whatever you want. Okay, so now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and press OK, and we're good there. I'm going to lock that layer, and then I'm going to go up to this name, and I'm going to do some changes to that as well. Double click, and I'm just going to use the bevel and emboss feature. I'm not going to really do that much with his name because this already has its own little nice blue background right there. There's no need to really go crazy. All right, I think that's fine. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll lock that layer. And then let's go to Plankton over here, and let's move him up. I'm gonna find him first. Don't forget, you can change the names of anything that you put on here. You would just double click and you can change the name. Like I can change it to Plankton, which I think that's how you spell the name, and enter, and it does. It's just renaming the layer. Sometimes you have a lot of layers. That's perfect to do. So yeah, so we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and just move this. You can move it while it's locked, or you can unlock it. It's just you can't make any changes, but you can move it in your layers panel. So I went ahead and moved him up a little bit. I don't really like his antennas like that, so I'm gonna do like that. And I think because it kind of looks like he's looking out of the book, I kind of want it to. Let me see if I horizontally flip him. But yes, I want it to look like he's looking up, you know, at them like, oh, what am I gonna do next type thing. I love SpongeBob. All right, so this is now our cover. So we've done our cover. Our cover is done. Now we're gonna do the back cover. The back cover is super easy. Usually what I do is, like I've said before, I use my clip bag first. That's the first design that I do, and everything from that goes off of that. So usually I take the words from there, but I didn't. So let's go ahead and type it in. So let's say thank you. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Hold on. What did I say? Thank you for sharing my special day with me. Thank you for sharing. Did I say sharking? Do you even know how to spell? Sharing my special day with me. Explanation point. Okay, so it came in the last color that we typed in, which was the yellow, and they all are super close, so we don't want that. So let's first change the color. We're going to change it to blue, and then we'll do a stroke around it, and we're going to do the yellow stroke. Okay. And then, okay, we might still need to make some changes. Okay, so now that we have this here, I don't know how that came up. As you can see, everything is so close together. So what we're going to do is we'll go over to our character panel and come here where it has the A on top of the A. And just try auto to begin with. And it'll put the spaces between your sentence. But I think it's too far away. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to see what I can do. So that's still too much. So 60. And still is a little bit too close. Let's go with 48. I think that works. And then I don't like the blue like that. So let's use yellow. So I'm gonna change the color to yellow again and then do the outline in blue. Yeah, I think that's better. I think that's a lot better. Okay, all right, so here we go. So now we have that, and we're gonna put this wherever you want it. But again, this is the back side of your book, okay? All right, so now that we have that there, we're gonna lock that, and then we're gonna bring back Spongebob that we had right there, and we're gonna move him up. Then I'm going to erase the background, okay? And make sure we didn't get in the crevices, and there we go. All right, so I'm gonna take him, Control Command T, and I'm going to resize him to fit right here. And then, bam, that's it. So if you want to make any other changes, that's fine. Okay, so now here's where the fun, confusing part comes in. Like I said, there's not another template. There's only one template, one page right in front of you that you're going to use multiple times to make your coloring book. This can be very tedious and very tiring because it is a lot of moving parts, especially once you go in to do the mock-up. So what I've learned is my coloring pages, unless it's requested by my customer, is no more than 4 to 5 pages. This includes front and back, and activities and things like that. So you decide on how you want to do it for your business. This is how I do it for mine. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to save this as a cover, okay? So I'm going to save as. I'm going to go to save as. And once it comes up, come on, you're going to find your folder that you want to save this in. So I have different folders here, and I have coloring books, and then I make a folder for the different things I'm doing, and then of course here's SpongeBob, and as you can see here, I would save here as cover as a working Photoshop file. Do not forget to do that. That is so important. If you do not save it as a Photoshop file, you will not be able to go back into it to edit it for another customer, okay? So once I've done that, I will go ahead and save it. I'm going to press cancel because I already have it saved, as you can see. And there we go from there. Then what I'm going to do, Trying to think of how I want to do this with you guys. Okay, what we're going to do first, so is we're going to, you know what, let me save it. I'm going to save it. So then that way I can open up the template again. So me personally, I do it a little bit different, but as I told you guys before, you're going to learn how to do things your way. But I feel like if I do it my way, it may be a tad bit confusing for you guys. So I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm just going to save it. That's fine. It's coloring book template. Okay, so now that it's saved like that, I'm going to exit out of that one. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and I'm going to, so now that this is saved, so listen to me guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if I'm all over the place. That's why I said I never should do tutorials. I happen to sometimes just be all over the place. So we're going to leave this like this. I'm going to go up here to File. I'm going to go to Open again. And I'm now going to go and open back up the template that I purchased, right? And the reason behind this, because we already saved it as something else in a different folder. We shouldn't have any problems opening up the blank copy again, okay? So go ahead and open that up. So now that that's done, now we're back to our blank template, okay? So now here's where you start doing your pages. I'm only gonna do 2 different pages with you guys because at that point you understand. So the first page that you're going to do, this side is going to be empty. It's not gonna have anything on it because when you open up the book, how we do in America, I'm not sure if it's anywhere else. I apologize if I said that wrong. Usually when you open it up, on the right side is where the book starts, and then you have a blank part here. So we would keep that part blank, and then over here we would add what we want. So what I like to do is I say, help Braylon color for his birthday. Okay, so now, again, this is a coloring book. So the last thing we want is everything to already be colored. So here's what you're going to do. So I'm going to change the font. I have a font that I use for my coloring books that I love. So it's my favorite, and it's like a bubble font. Wait, I clicked the wrong one. Well, I'm trying. I have a love-hate relationship with my computer. All right, so this is the one. It says bubble gum. It's my favorite one. So I'm going to use that one. So here's what you do to make it to where it's not in color. You're going to resize it the way how you want it, like I just did. And then I'm going to go over here to my swatches panel, and I'm going to click the white to change it to white. Now, of course, we can't see it, but we know it's there. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go over here to your layers panel, double click on the words, and then you're going to use the stroke style, and as you can see now, we can see it with a stroke around it. But I'm going to change the stroke to black, and then I'm going to make it smaller, somewhere like right there. So now there you go, they can color that part. Unlock that part, and then I want to add something right here. So we're going to go over here to our Spongebob coloring pages, and we're going to choose something. So let's choose him, okay? And now with the background already being white, sometimes you won't even be able to tell if there's a background, but because I want them to be pretty large, we may have to change it. So I'm going to change them a little bit and put it right here like that. You can't even tell that there's a background. And so then you don't have to worry about it. If you had them like for, what did we just do? I thought I locked my guidelines. Okay, I did it for the other things, not for this one. Let me lock it again. All right, if you wanted him like way up here, then yes, of course you would need to take out the background. If not, don't even worry about it. I don't. All right, so I think that's fine. So now what you're going to do now is you're going to save this page as is a working file, okay? So, and then what I like to do is not only do I do this, and I do this for the cover as well, I just didn't go over it. I save 2 files. I save a working file, so of course I can come back to it, and I also save a file for my customer. When it goes into my customers folders, it's just ready to be printed out. So then I don't have to do this later on. So And I'll show you what I do with that. I go to save as, and this is to go to my customer. I find their folder, and I'm just going to choose anybody here. And as you can see, it has the labels here, and then it has their work. So what I would do is I would put this as coloring book page 1, and then I save this as a PDF file. Well, not that PDF file, and then I press save. So then after I have done that, I go back in and do save as again, and then I go over to where I'm going to use it as a working copy. So I will go to my what folder I use it for, and then I will go over to coloring books, and then I will find Spongebob, and then you can see it's right there, coloring book 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so same thing, and then I wouldn't save it as PDF. I save it as Photoshop file, so working file. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and save it here, so you guys can see how I go back to it. All right, so now that we've done that part, what you're going to do now is you're just going to erase this part. So I'm just going to drag, and I'm going to, wow, that was not the plan. Let me lock the background. It's the drag and then delete everything that's on there. So now we're going to the second and the third page. So once the customer turns the page, they have the second page here and third page here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on here. I'm going to see what I want. Usually what I like to do is I like to do an activity here and a coloring here. So we'll take, let's go with this SpongeBob, and let's do the word search. Again, found this on Google, and I'm going to drag that over. So and we're going to play around with that a little bit. Okay, so first we're going to put SpongeBob on the right here. Like that will lock him, and then we're gonna play around with the word search, because I mean, if it doesn't match your theme, you of course gonna want to make some changes. So like for instance, the name and a date, I'm gonna delete that. Go up here to my eraser tool. Oh, it doesn't even have the layer. Eraser tool, yes, that's fine. And then I'm going to erase these things, and then I'm gonna erase that line too. Okay, so if you want to get a straight line in Photoshop, you need to zoom in. When you're, I don't even know what I did. A straight line when you are erasing something, that's how you do it. So you take your eraser, the circle right there, you click wherever you want it to start, you press shift and go where you want it to end at, okay? So I clicked here, then I'm gonna press shift and I'm gonna click again where I want it to end, and it takes out all this in the middle. Just don't forget to like hold, like, okay, how do I say this? So what if you, so in case you did that and then you stopped here and then you're still holding shift and you go here, what it's gonna do is it'll go across and delete everything, which I don't know why I didn't do that, but okay, I'm gonna do the same thing here. All right, I wish I could have shown you guys, but it didn't do it. And I don't want to play around with trying to figure out how to do it again. All right, so I'm going to leave that part here, but I'm going to take this cool to be kids, I think it says, and I'm going to erase that. And I think that's fine. Now, what if you want, you can put like page 2, page 3. I don't, and I just don't. This is my preference. But if you're done with this page, then you can go ahead and save this page the exact same way that we just did before. Okay, you'll save this page, and then we'll go and delete everything. Once you have saved it, you will go ahead and delete it again, and then we'll start again for the next page. Okay, so now, well, this will be the last page that we do. So what I like to do for my books is, like I said, I have an activity over here and I have a coloring page over here. Usually the middle of it, so when they're folding over and they're laying it down, the middle of the book has one whole page. So we'll do that one. So I'm going to use these guys here, and I'm going to bring it over here, bring them up a little bit larger. Okay, don't need to change anything. And then from there, I like to put in, you know, happy birthday, Braylon. And as you see, it started off in white, so we really can't see it. That's fine. I don't even know if I'm moving it. I am. Okay, so let's double click so we can bring the border around it so they'll be able to see it. Double click on the layer. I'm going to stroke, and it just automatically picked up what we did last time. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring it up a little bit more so it goes across. Okay. All right. And I think that's centered. Let's see. All right, so now that we have that, and again, I will show you guys a whole bunch of different other ways, but it's literally the same. It's repeating the same thing over and over when it comes to the coloring books. And like, that's where I said that it has so many moving parts, and that's why it took me so long to do this video of trying to make it easier for you guys to understand as far as the moving parts. Because I tell you, when I first started doing coloring books, I didn't like it. It was just exhausting to me, but that's just me. Now I have a system and I'm good. And you guys will find your own system. All right, so now that we have our coloring book done for all intents and purposes, what we're going to do now is we're going to make our mock-up, okay? So this is how we're going to make our mock-up. After you have now saved all of your pages and you're comfortable with your pages and everything is done, now you're going to go over into wherever you put your mock-up that you got from us. And I can't tell you about other people's mock-ups. This is just for mine, okay? So let's find the coloring book mock-up. So I'm going to click on it and then I'm going to open it up. All right, so you'll be able to put your pages here, your cover here. You can also change the color of the crayon. I don't do that often. It's just too much for me, but you can if you do offer custom coloring colors wrappers. You can most definitely. This is a smart object as well, so you are able to change that as well. I don't, but that's up to you. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the book opening up. That's what I want to start with. Now, again, when you're starting to do your mock-up, make sure you have open the layers the pages that you want to show in the mock-up. You don't have to show all of the pages. I usually show this one, and I usually show the cover. That is all that I show when I do my mock-ups, okay? So I have both of these working files already opened, and we have our mock-up. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to go over here to the coloring book open part. So, and if you go over here to the layers, you have that what I just said, the one that's closed and the crayon, and they all have drop-down boxes, okay? You can also place your background there. That's up to you. You guys have seen how I do mine, but that's how I do. Okay, so we're going to go over here to the coloring book open part. We're going to click on the arrow, and you don't need to mess with any of these things here. You just need to go, excuse me, where it says add art, which is a little bit down here. And so we're going to, so they have two different ones. They have the left one and the right one. I am over here pointing to my screen like you guys can. Like y'all can see. We're going to start with the left one. It's the left page image area. We're going to double click on there. That was not it. Let me see. Hold on. Coloring book open. Left page add art here. What's the right one? Where's the left one? There it is. Okay, let me go back. Too many wording. I might need to change that. So underneath shading where it says, oh, it says add art. Goofy. Okay, so left page add art. I double click on it. It brings me to another little panel here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one. This is the one I want to play around with. And I'm going to merge it. We've talked about merging in previous videos. Layer, merge visible. Once that is done, we're going to drag and drop it over here to the other panel. Now it's too large, so what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom out first and then Control Command T, and then I'm going to make it smaller. Now keep in mind this is just the left side of the paper, okay? This is not the full paper. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna size it, of course, to whichever it is. Like I like to make sure that the box just fits in the box type thing. So that makes it easier. Okay. All right, so once we're done and we done clicked it in place, then what we're going to do is we're going to go to File and Save. This is how you do smart objects. From my previous videos, you guys should know that. And then so we have that right there. So now I'm going to exit out that tab, the left page, and then I'm going to go over here down to my layers panel and I'm going to choose Add Art for the right page. So, you know what? I shouldn't have closed that down. Oh my God, let me open that back up, the left side, so then I don't have to resize it. And I'm just gonna drag it over here to the right side. I hope I didn't confuse anyone. All right, so once I did Control T and I have everything over, I'm just gonna move it to where we did, as far as like there's no changing, and that's the reason I wanted to take it from the left side thing versus just resizing it. This way I know that is gonna be perfect. Okay, well it should be. I'm gonna press enter, I'm gonna go to file, and I'm gonna press save, and I'm gonna go back to my mock-up here. Yep, it came out perfect. And so then I can close out of those options there. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the front page. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. I'm going to go to coloring book close and add art here. Okay, now for this one, we're going to need the cover. So for here, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go to layer and I'm going to merge visible. Then I'm going to take it and drag it over here to the part for that. And it says book PSB. All right, so we're going to do Control Command T. I'm going to also zoom out because it's super larger than the smart object. And we just want the front part, okay? So I'm just going to do the front. There we go. And no, I want it smaller a little bit, maybe up here. We can nudge it over a little bit. Okay, I think that's good. Everybody's in there. All right, press enter and I'm going to file and then I'm going to go to save. It's repetitive, ain't it? All right, we go back to our mock-up. So now everything has been put there. Again, you can mess with the crayon if you decide. It has its own layer. I just don't. I don't. By the time I do it, I'm over it. Sometimes I even just use the I button and just hide the crayon. It's up to you. And then that's it. That is it. So let me tell you guys how to print these out. When you go to print out, okay, you're going to print out your cover first, of course, how many ever that you need. You print out the cover first. Those are going to be done on the photo paper that I linked down below. You can use your own, but this is ones I recommend and I have had wonderful results with, and so has anyone who's purchased my templates that I recommend this. They definitely use that. So once you print that out, then you're going to use a regular paper. You do not need to use photo paper for the inside of the pages. You use regular copy paper, okay? And you print out like how I do it. So let me show you. I'm going to go over here to my Spongebob coloring book, which is not this one. So let me find where I use my working files. I'm going to find coloring book so you guys can see. Click on coloring book, we're gonna find Spongebob. All right, so what I do first is I print out oh no, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry, so sorry. Let me find, okay, you guys, so sorry about that. I had to find out which one it was. Okay, so this is how I print things out. Okay, so with the coloring books, remember I saved them all as a PDF for the first page, the second page, so third page, and fourth page. Okay, so and it's technically more than that. Of course, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have the 6th and the 7th page. All right, so now how to do this is how I do it. When I print everything out, the first thing I do is I print out my cover. Of course, I do that on a photo paper. Then for the regular paper, now now this is the best way to do it. Like, even if you have your printer prints out the second side, I have yet to figure out how to make it just do how I want it to do it. I no longer try anymore. So after I lost my mind figuring that part out, I decided to just do one at a time. So, well, I do 2 at a time. So what I do first is I do the first page and I do the third page. Okay, so those print out together and make sure it does not have the second side going on. Is just the first page and the third page. That's how I do it, okay? So I will click on the one that I want to print. I make sure I have my paper and my printer that is regular paper. Then I go to file and I will go to print. So let's wait for that to come up. So I'll show you the settings for if my thing ever comes up. All right, so I picked the printer that I want to use. I'm gonna use this one, and I click off two-sided and I click black and white. Make sure the letter is correct. For the media and quality, I change that to best or normal, and then I press print, and then, well, however many that you want to print out. So now once you've done that, you do the same with the third page. Once you have those printed out, what you're going to do is you're going to take the first page and then you're going to put it back into your printer. Make sure you put it the correct way. The correct way is supposed to be facing upside or downside, depending on how your printer feeds the paper, or make sure it's on the, like, saying that the image is like, as you can see, when we double click on it, it shows you how it's going to print. So just give that 1 second. I want to open back up so I can show what I'm trying to say. While it's waiting, I'll explain. So you want to make sure that the image is, when you flip it, is still faced the right way. So for instance, like, I'm just going to do something, I'm going to do that. So when you print out your stuff, it comes like facing that way. You want to make sure that when you put it in your printer, that the opposite side is facing the right way that the other side is going to print out, if that makes any sense. You don't need to flip anything. I just did that for an example to show you guys what I'm saying, okay? So, and I'm gonna say cancel. No, I don't want you to do anything. Just close out. All right. So, and then you're going to do the same now for the coloring book, the first page, and then you're gonna go, you'll put the printer, the same page in for to print out the second page on the back, and then you'll do the same thing with the third to print out the fourth. So that's how I do it. It works best for me. I tried to do the two-sided, and I don't know what I was doing wrong. That could just been something that's just completely over my head. I don't know. And then that's it. I will link down below the stapler that I use, because normal staplers is not the business for these. And what I do recommend that you do is cut off all the borders. I do them all together. I put them together, and then I cut the borders, so then they're all even. And that is it, you guys. It's not hard, like I said, but I hope this was helpful to you. And if you have any questions or any concerns, definitely put it down below in the comments. Please like this video, and definitely subscribe if you're not. I try to do weekly videos to help you guys get more familiar with Photoshop, designing in Photoshop, so that you can do party favors as a side hustle. Alright guys, again, thank you so very much for watching, and you all have a blessed day. Till next time.